For all video updates, subscribe to Dark Whispers and turn on the bell notification. So, let's listen to today's spine-chilling story. This is a story of a tragic drama played in the heart of Africa's history. A brief moment of brightness, followed by a long dark night. Victor pointed towards Mrs. Shane and said, "Mr. Victor," Dr. Kevin addressed Victor, saying, "My acquaintance with you is not just for a day or two, but for the past 16 years. I have never seen or heard you making false statements. As far as I know, Shane is a good man and this couple is very compatible. But your statement about Mrs. Shane has left me deeply puzzled. What exactly do you mean, Doctor? Let time pass, and the meaning will become clear to you." Victor smiled slightly and said, "This is about the residential area of Africa." Victor was the commissioner of Congo at that time, overseeing an area of about 8,000 square miles. Despite dense forests and difficult roads, the region was under his excellent management. The locals held him in high regard, and everyone was ready to lay down their lives at his command. He was a man of his word, truthful in character, and had no interest in speaking ill of others. This was why his words about Mrs. Shane had shocked Dr. Kevin. Shane had not been in the area for long. He had come to this remote place to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. He had married Serena not long ago. Although farming was a new profession for him, he had achieved remarkable success in a short time. His hard work played a significant role in his success. Serena's brother had settled there earlier and owned a large piece of land for farming. Since they had no children, Serena's sister-in-law, feeling lonely, had insisted on keeping Serena with her. Seeing Shane as a good and lonely man, they saw it as beneficial to marry Serena to him. Serena was a beautiful girl, and Shane had fallen for her at first sight. However, during their wedding, Commissioner Victor's words kept echoing in Dr. Kevin's ears. If they loved each other so much, their love should be eternal. But Commissioner, Victor was not foolish to make such statements lightly. What did he mean? Dr. Kevin was troubled. Meanwhile, an old rumor came to Dr. Kevin's mind. It was said that a man named James was in love with Serena. He was a successful businessman in the area, and Serena and James were often seen together. However, Serena later refused to marry him, and her brother arranged her marriage to Shane. All these things were troubling Dr. Kevin. After some time, Dr. Kevin decided to meet Shane and Serena, who were then residing in Africa. As he was preparing to leave, he received news of a cholera outbreak in the border areas of Congo. Forced to change his plans, he went there. It took him 3 months to control the outbreak. After completing his duties, he went straight to Shane. He found Shane and Serena living a happy life. Shane welcomed Dr. Kevin with a smile. In the drawing room, Serena's doll, which she cherished, was placed on the rack. Dr. Kevin glanced at the doll and noticed strange, lifeless expressions on its face. It seemed lonely and deeply sad, as if it was watching him in a melancholic manner. "Did my arrival cause any trouble or discomfort?" Dr. Kevin asked. "Doctor, how could that be? A guest's arrival never troubles the host." "I am sure Serena will be very happy to see you," Shane replied, and called out to Serena. But there was no response from inside. He called again, and this time, the sound of footsteps was heard. The door opened, and Serena stood there. "Greetings," Dr. Kevin greeted her. But Serena's face turned pale upon seeing him. "Darling, there's nothing to be surprised about. We should be thankful that he came for me," Shane said to Serena, and then turned to Dr. Kevin. "I'll be back in a few minutes. I just remembered something important." "No problem," Dr. Kevin said cheerfully. But inside, he was deeply troubled. The situation was becoming more mysterious. Serena's face showed signs of fear that he had never seen before. He was puzzled. What had happened to her in just a few days? "Serena, what has happened to you? Why is there such paleness on your face?" he asked in a concerned tone. Instead of answering, Serena burst into a strange, eerie laughter. The room fell into a deathly silence. Then, as if a stone had been thrown into a still pond, Serena's voice broke the silence. "Doctor, I don't care about anyone. I'm not afraid," she said, her voice trembling. She was about to faint when Dr. Kevin quickly caught her. At that moment, the door opened and Shane entered. "She has had a severe dizzy spell." "Thank you, Doctor. You are very responsible," Shane said in a mocking tone, and Dr. Kevin felt relieved. "The patient needs peace and quiet." "No problem," Shane said, and left the room. Gradually, Serena's condition improved, and she opened her eyes. "I want to talk to you about something. If I don't, I will go mad. Doctor, I will go mad. Don't... You feel my restlessness and pain?" she asked. "No, my dear. How could that be?" Dr. Kevin replied gently. "Then listen," she said, sitting up on the bed. Her eyes were filled with fear. "Doctor, do you think I am mad? They want to kill me. For the past 3 nights, they have been haunting me in my dreams. And that drum, that devilish doll obeys his command and starts beating the drum loudly. It feels like my brain will burst. Then suddenly the doll stops drumming, and what happens next, doctor, don't ask. The doll's white face turns black, and it starts crawling towards me. Its body starts expanding, and it slowly comes closer to me. Its terrifying, poisonous claws grip my body. Its hands wrap around me like snakes. Dr. Bo, they want to kill me. Save me, doctor." Dr. Kevin comforted her. "Don't be afraid, my dear. I am here." He advised Shane to take Serena to Congo for a few days, but Dr. Kevin was still puzzled. What was happening? This was Africa, the dark continent, where strange things happened that even Western science couldn't explain. There were all kinds of magic and sorcery here. Dr. Kevin decided to ask Shane a few questions about Serena. "If you don't mind, I need to ask you a few questions about Serena," he said. "Of course, ask anything. I promise to answer truthfully," Shane replied. "Have you ever met Victor?" Dr. Kevin asked. "Yes, we have met several times," Shane replied. Dr. Kevin felt no need to ask further questions. "You should rest, and I will also take some rest," he said. The night was dark, and the sound of drums could be heard in the distance. Dr. Kevin's ears were tuned to that rhythm. Suddenly, the drum's beat changed, and a strange incident occurred. Shane fell from the bed onto the floor, his face contorted in pain, and his body started trembling as if some supernatural force was twisting him. When Dr. Kevin tried to straighten his body, Shane let out a terrifying scream. Dr. Kevin feared that Serena might wake up from the noise, but she didn't. Shane's servant came running and helped Dr. Kevin lay Shane back on the bed. "Doctor, tell me, what is happening?" This attack was more severe than before. Every breath was a torture. It felt like my spine would crack into pieces. It felt like some force was squeezing the life out of me. And did you hear those devilish drums? Their sound was hammering my brain. "Doctor, what is this calamity? Please find a cure," Shane said, weakly. In response, Dr. Kevin asked Shane where he felt the pain. He touched various parts of Shane's body, but Shane's answer left him both surprised and troubled. "There is no pain, just fatigue. My heart is racing," Shane replied. Dr. Kevin then examined Shane's body more closely and noticed 2 red marks on his chest. Upon closer inspection, they looked like handprints, but they disappeared instantly. Dr. Kevin felt trapped in a web of fear. "What do you think, doctor?" Shane asked tiredly. "For now, this matter is beyond my understanding, but you must follow my advice and come with me to Congo. I mean, you and Serena both," Dr. Kevin said. "If that's your wish, I have no objection," Shane replied. Thank you. Now you should sleep. I will give you an injection to calm your heart so you can rest peacefully. Dr. Kevin said. It's better, doctor, Shane said, looking at him with tired eyes. One more thing. Don't mention anything about leaving to Serena, he added. All right, Dr. Kevin agreed and sat in the veranda, watching something in the dim light of the lamp. The last part of the night was ending, and dawn was approaching. He stopped writing, arranged all the papers, and sealed them in an envelope. Take this, to Commissioner Victor in Congo, but go like the wind. Make sure it reaches him by noon, he instructed. By afternoon, they had reached Congo. Leaving Shane and Serena in the room, Dr. Kevin began talking to Victor. Mr. Victor, Shane's life is in danger. He has had severe attacks, and his body can't endure anymore. On the other hand, the terrifying incidents have left Serena in a state of fear and anxiety. I want them to have at least a month of peace. In the meantime, I hope to find a solution to this problem. Do you think there's any way to investigate James's activities? I can tell you that he is using black magic to eliminate them in a horrifying manner, but the problem is, you can't take any legal action against him, nor can you harm him in the presence of that devilish doll. My idea is that with your intelligence and medical knowledge, we can find a way. That devilish doll protects him. James once mentioned to me that he had learned black magic by mingling with the locals and had also mastered the secret of the drum's rhythm. Then one day, a local told me that he had seen James in a ritual of a wild African tribe called Changar. This ritual starts at sunset and continues all night. During this ritual, tribal dances are performed, and James had also participated in them. He had started a strange, horrifying sequence of dances with the devilish doll. This method was based on the ancient Egyptian rituals of the dead. Even Westerners can't match his level, although some people in the wild regions of India know similar methods. They perform black magic on a fish. After starving the fish for a while, they cut it into 2 pieces, and the same happens to the person who is the target of their magic. As the fish is cut, the person also splits into 2. The Changar tribe has named James's new method Jojo. The drum's rhythm continues for a certain period, and when it reaches its peak, the devilish doll starts dancing. Only then can any action be taken. Oh my God, Dr. Kevin exclaimed. Can't we do anything about it? Can't you arrest him on some charge? Even if we arrest him, what will we achieve? In the presence of the devilish doll, we can't harm him, Victor replied thoughtfully. Suddenly, the sound of drums grew louder, and the atmosphere became terrifying. James's face transformed into that of a wild beast. His jaws widened horrifically, his nostrils flared, and a wolf-like growl emerged from his throat. At that moment, Commissioner Victor and Dr. Kevin entered James's room, holding the devilish doll. Seeing the doll, James screamed, "Give me that doll! What is it doing with you? It should be in Shane's house. I have a blood connection with the Changar tribe. I can kill Shane and Serena from here, and no one can harm me. But if you give me the devilish doll, I can spare your lives. Don't trouble me, and give me the doll immediately. Can't you hear the dangerous drumbeats inviting me to the devilish doll's dance?" Dr. Kevin handed the doll to James. What followed was beyond belief, a scene filled with horror and mystery. James began playing with the devilish doll, and soon, the doll's body started expanding and coming to life. Slowly, life entered the doll's lifeless body. After a few moments, the doll opened its eyes, its lips moved, and its pupils dilated. It was now a living woman. James let out a devilish laugh. Now watch the magic of Jojo. Whatever I do to the devilish doll will affect Jane and Serena in the same way, he said. Then, like a bloodthirsty beast, he bit into the doll's neck. Now I will sink my sharp teeth into the doll's neck, and you can imagine what will happen next, he said, running his hands over the doll's neck. But the next moment, something unexpected happened. The doll's eyes turned red like embers. Des pounced on James and grabbed him. The doll's grip tightened, and strange, eerie sounds emerged from its throat. Then, it sank its sharp teeth into James's neck. Victor turned to look at Dr. Kevin, who had closed his eyes and was silently reciting something. Then, a catastrophic explosion occurred. The drumbeats suddenly stopped. With the explosion, James's body was blown to pieces. Nearby lay James's corpse, now turned blue. Dr. Kevin, who was not only a doctor but also a spiritual healer, thanked God for the destruction of the devilish doll and James. Commissioner Victor also breathed a sigh of relief.